Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Price to Sell podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Campoli. And today, we're back with another incredible episode, another exciting one for you guys. I think you're all going to take a lot of value from this one. As per usual, that's what we do here on this podcast. I would love to introduce everyone to Stephanie Mitchell. Thank you for coming.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having
me.
In
the flesh?
Yes.
With her new hat.
Yes, with my new hat, everybody. So Matt has gifted me with this hat. You'll see me on the street wearing it. On the side here, it says hashtag I sell real estate.
Let me know how much I should e-transfer you for that whole promo. That was a great ad. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
But thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a long time coming.
I know.
A couple reschedules.
We've been trying to do this for what feels like forever.
But it's here.
Yeah.
So we're going to make it count.
Finally here.
So for those that don't know you, let them know a little bit about who Stephanie is.
Yeah. So I guess I'll start with I was not born and raised in Toronto. You don't know this either. You didn't ask me this ahead of time.
I'm learning.
So I was actually born in California in the States.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
She's American.
Dual. I am dual. So wait, it's a longer story than that.
Okay,
so
let's do it.
I have no memories there. We moved pretty much right away.
Okay.
But we moved to Hawaii.
Sick.
Where I spent 10 years there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was very much, the beach goer kind of, I don't know, always walk down to the beach, skip school sometimes, but don't tell my parents. My parents might watch this. So anyways, that was that. And then they're actually from Canada originally. They're born in Canada. So we moved back to Vancouver Island, BC. So that's where I am from, I would say. Yeah.
So along that coast?
Along the coast.
Is Hawaii West Coast? Like
Pacific.
Yeah?
Yeah, Pacific.
Okay.
Yeah. So needless to say, I am an island girl at heart.
Mm-hmm.
So jump from island to island. And now I'm living here in Toronto, beautiful, big city. Such a change.
Right? That is a big difference. It's a different reality.
Huge difference. And you know what? People don't realize how much of a difference there is. Like people that grew up in Toronto, maybe they don't think anything of it, but it is beautiful, but it's also noisy.
It is noisy.
And you might, do you still find it noisy?
Well, I just did I did a retreat in Costa Rica recently.
Oh.
And yeah, it was great. Like super grounded, got really zen and connecting with the nature and all that, right?
The nature.
And then coming back here made me realize I realized the noise. I've learned to live with it, right?
Okay, yeah.
I'm born and raised in Vaughan,
okay.
just in the suburbs, but I've been downtown for a while now, and yeah, you hear the beeping of trucks reversing, the cranes, cars honking, sirens, all that stuff. You just get used to it. But when you're in an environment like maybe a beachy environment on different coast, or like where I was in Costa Rica coming back, holy, what a shock. Yeah.
Such a change, yeah. And, I think the biggest thing that stood out for me is the hustle and bustle.
Yeah.
In Toronto, everyone's rushing everywhere.
And do you like it?
Okay, I'm not going to lie. The first year being in Toronto, I hated it. It took me a full year to finally settle into it and be like, you know what? This is a pretty cool city.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I can say I do. But it's definitely nice to get out of the city and just kind of relax because I'm definitely still that island beach girl at heart.
Yeah.
Or I need to chill. I need to chill sometimes.
For sure. Especially in our job. Right?
Yeah.
The balance is crucial. Such a fight or flight business.
Yes.
Always go. Cortisol levels are just through the roof.
I know.
We're stressed.
We're doing everything all the time.
Yep.
Like we were talking about earlier. We'll share this with you guys. You are absolutely everything in this job.
Mm-hmm.
You are not only a realtor, but you're a therapist.
Yep.
You're a social worker.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, you're working with the kids. You're working with their family. Sometimes the grandparents show up too. You're doing everything. You're doing the math. You're
a teacher.
You're a teacher.
It's just the whole
Just
thing.
list off all the professionals. We're probably all of them.
Yeah. So shout out to everyone out there, all you realtors, because you're a lot of things. Okay.
Yeah.
Pat yourself on the back. But I want to get into pre-real estate, because whoever watches you or knows what you do, especially on the socials, and we'll get into how you excel there. You're very comfortable in front of the camera.
Yes.
Right. And that stems, you said you came from the fashion industry, modeling, be on camera a lot, right? So how was that, like using that? How was that transition to real estate?
So I will say, so I'll speak a little bit about modeling first, just
Sure.
to share how it was sort of a natural transition because of all these things I'm going to mention. So, I grew up doing modeling, and I actually moved to Toronto from BC because of modeling, because it's a bigger market, right? So I had more work here. And when you're a model, rejection is kind of a natural thing, and you get that every single day. Every day.
Yeah.
And so transitioning into being a realtor, it's sort of a similar thing because let's say you're door knocking. Now, I'm not huge into door knocking, but let's say you are, and I know many people that are. My fiance is. So as a door knocker, you're going to get doors slammed in your face.
Definitely.
It happens. You know, we're salespeople at the end of the day, and not everybody, we kind of have a stigma. So not everybody likes salespeople, I guess.
It's true.
Models are also salespeople.
Okay.
Yeah. Everything you wear, and some people don't realize this, right? But everything you wear, anything they put on you, it's your job to sell the product. And so for me, it was sort of a natural transition because of all of these things. And just the fact that when rejection comes up, it sort of doesn't faze me as much as I feel like it would have if I didn't have that background already and I wasn't used to that sort of thing. So the transition has been, I'd like to say it's been pretty smooth. I do really like it, especially the whole aspect of when you're modeling, you're in the fashion industry, you're behind cameras a lot, you're doing commercials, you're doing videos, you're reading lines. You become very natural. It's not a scary thing anymore. So when I took my business into real estate, I really wanted to lean heavily in that direction because I already had the skills for a number of those things. And I wanted to really put my best foot forward because in a city, and I think the audience who's listening to this might actually resonate with this, in a city like Toronto, how many realtors are there?
70,000 plus right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And only like 10% are full time?
Yeah, the numbers are like,
that's what I've heard.
Fact check me, guys, because I haven't looked into this, but the way I was kind of mentored is like 95% of the business is done by 5%. You know? So yeah, a ton of part-timers out there. And
nothing wrong with part-time.
Nothing wrong with it, but I mean, this is, you want to service your clients properly.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes. And so, that's sort of my next point too, is I didn't want to be part-time. When I transitioned, I wanted to go full-time. Because I did very much wanted to service my clients properly, especially when you're dealing with such large assets.
Yes.
Even, I try to put myself in their shoes if I was a client. Would I want to hire somebody who's part-time, or do I want to hire somebody who's full-time? Obviously full-time.
For sure.
Because they see the market every single day, and that's just what makes sense, is what I would feel most comfortable with. So again, going back to social media or photos, videos, leaning heavily in that direction as a real estate agent, that was my goal. So right out the gates, that's exactly what I did. In modeling, right from the get-go, when social media became a thing, I was heavily out those gates. I knew that's what I wanted to do. That's how I was going to get clients, and that's exactly how I got clients. That's how your name spreads. That's how your image, that's how your brand spreads. And I did the exact same thing for real estate.
Awesome. So you kind of had a bit of a blueprint?
Yeah.
Very
exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And so people may know, people may not know, but you've only been in 6 months.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're crushing it.
Thank you.
And I think this will speak to a lot of the new agents out there who are struggling because I don't want to say rule of thumb, but maybe we'll use averages here.
Yeah.
A lot of people won't do their first deal until maybe 6 months into the business, you know, and by deal, I mean like, sale or a purchase. Some realtors struggle the entire first year, like even beginning of my first year, I was like, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
I really caught my footing by the end. and then the consistency started to pour in. But let's talk about your first 6 months, right? Like, how has that been for you? Did you have like a vision right off the start, knowing exactly what you needed to do?
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
Okay. Not exactly in the way that I knew everything.
Yeah.
No way in this am I saying that I knew everything. There's no way for a new realtor to know everything.
Oh.
No. So so here's the thing. I had a plan, and actually while I was studying, I was already starting on that plan.
Okay.
So when I was taking the course through Humber College, I was creating I was doing a lot of research. I was searching homes. I was trying to get familiar with the market because I really wanted to, I really wanted to, like, how do I say this? As soon as real estate was going to start for me, I wanted to essentially run out of the gates. And now I know, you hear this all the time. People say you can't run before you walk. And I understood that. But I wanted to be the best I could possibly be because I didn't want to disappoint myself. And you know how you kind of, like, as people, you sort of hold yourself to the highest standards.
Yeah.
And this is sort of a fault sometimes. You don't give yourself slack sometimes, but
Yep.
that's sort of how I felt. And so even before I graduated, got my real estate license, I was doing everything that I possibly could think of in my spare time to become that realtor that I wanted to be.
What can you give some examples?
Studying the market, looking at what things were priced at, what people put them up at, what did they sell for, why did they sell for that? Speaking to those realtors online.
Cool.
Occasionally I would come at them not as like an interested client, but I obviously wasn't a realtor at that time. So I would just say that, I'm looking to get into the business. Why did it sell at that price?
Yeah.
I would just ask these questions. And that's the thing is, don't be afraid to ask those questions.
For sure.
Because that, if nothing else, has gotten me so much further than I think I would have been if I didn't just ask.
Well, you didn't wait.
Yeah, I didn't wait.
That's the key.
I started before I started.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, just like a theme of the business is you throw something up on MLS and you wait. Like, there's a lot of agents out there, especially in this market.
Yes.
And I had to learn in this market. So it's good. I'm happy you're in this market too, because this is the market to learn in.
Yeah.
The market we had earlier this year was
February, March.
Nuts. You throw something up on MLS, literally put it on your shirt from Hawaii or whatever, beach shirt, have your pina colada, and then you can sit back, cross your legs, look at your phone, just wait for it to ring. It'll ring 40 times. By the end of the phone calls, you have 65 offers.
Yeah.
And you'll sell it, right? Like that. This market's not like that. You have to be proactive, and like those traits that you are talking about right now are really good because those are the habits you need to have in this type of market. We have to be like on it. You can't just wait.
No.
You can't. You gotta be proactive.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? So back in February and March, exactly where you're talking about, where the market was insanity. I don't know if there's another word to put it.
It's a good one.
I didn't have seller clients. I had buyer clients.
Oh.
So, and those were my first ones. So I was in the mud with them.
Yep.
Just crawling through, barely making it. Everything went so fast. But I learned so much.
Yeah.
Everything I learned in those 2 months, gold.
Yeah.
Gold. Because it was so hard for buyers. And now that the market's settled, it's like,
Yeah.
yes.
Just here you go. Here you go. Here you go.
Exactly.
Now's the time for the buyers.
Exactly.
Definitely time
the
for the
investors,
buyers.
everybody.
So we can get into social media a little bit.
Yeah.
You mentioned, so we talked a little bit before this, and you mentioned that because a lot of people have to feel it out a little bit. What am I good at? What am I not? Even me in the beginning.
Exactly.
Or I'm like, oh, you know what?
Yeah.
I think putting out my humor and my weirdness will work. So let's do it.
Weirdness.
And it has, right? You mentioned you were like, I'm video focused right away. And it's been doing wonders for you. So I'd love to talk about what you've been doing with the video and how it's been working for you. I love that you like niche down on that and you're already seeing the results 6 months in. So let's talk about that.
Yeah. So in the first couple months, that's really what my focus was on. So yes, I was working with clients right off the get-go because I had, like when I announced it right away on Instagram that I'm a realtor, I had some people that were waiting for me because I had coworkers back when I was modeling that became my clients. So that was great. They knew I was new. They were willing to work with me and struggle with me through the mud pit. But, you know, so because of that, it was sort of slow going. But during that process, because I didn't have an insane amount of clients yet, I really had some time to focus on me and my business and my brand. And that's really what I spent my time doing. So I did everything on YouTube, you know, the banners. There's so much that goes into everything, as you know, but I really threw myself into my brand. I wanted to grow it so strong, so me, so authentically me.
Which is key.
Because nobody can be you,
exactly.
right? That is your superpower. You be you. Don't copy anybody else. Do your thing.
Yeah.
Do your thing. That could be a hat.
It could be a hat. Wow. There we go. New hashtag.
There we go. Yeah, do your thing. And I just wanted to do my thing. So that's exactly what I did. I just was bubbly. I was myself. I leaned heavily into videos. I posted all the time. Anything I learned. So I was a student and I became an educator. So now my value aspect, what I try to give to people all the time in my videos is value. What is going on right now? Why are things happening this way? Because people don't understand. And sometimes it takes a lot of time to go and look it up and watch millions of YouTube videos to get that understanding. So that's what I tried to bring. So that's one aspect. Another aspect, which I think I mentioned to you before, but in terms of, you know, clients and not only saving me a bunch of time moving forward into the future, because I'm planning my business like years down the road when hopefully I have lots of clients, right? I feel like that's every realtor's dream.
Yep.
Just clients take over. I didn't want to become overwhelmed. I wanted things set in place that I could have that's going to benefit me going forward. What can I do in the first 3 months of my new business that will benefit me and help me later on when I did get better? Busier.
Yeah.
Nope. Busier.
Busier and better.
A slip of a tongue.
Yeah.
You know?
It happens.
Yeah. So what I did is I started creating general enough videos on specific topics like showings, you know, like when you explain to people, okay, you know, congratulations, we're in the showing phase. We're now stepping into this different aspect. What I'm going to do is send you such and such and such. Then we're going to go out and do this. Here's the timetable. I put that in a video, and it's something that I would want to tell every single client. And it's what I was doing. I was having to speak this again and again and again. So I thought, instead of me just speaking this over the phone, because I can't see my face, how about I hop on video, I record it, I make it professional, perfect, personable, right? Because I didn't want it to be, you know, remove the personal out of that.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I started embedding it into the emails. So now when I get clients, at certain stages, I will embed that video that I've already pre-made, edited, looks professional. It's great. I'm happy with it. Stick it on there, send it off. And I get such great feedback.
Yeah.
I've never lost a client. They always know where I'm coming from because I'm very straightforward, very direct. Everybody's on the same page. Everybody knows what to expect, what we're doing. And I just found that that has worked amazing for me because I'm saving so much time. Now that I do have clients coming to me because of social media, now I can send off these things and I feel prepared.
Yeah.
I feel ready to go. And I think it's been a great benefit. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good system.
Preparation.
Because it's like plug and play now, right?
Yes. Yeah.
It's very, very powerful because, like, you know, there's a lot of agents who use email blasts and campaigns, but it's just an email. It's like tips to purchase. And like realistically, especially nowadays where like there's emails are so like, there's so much going on.
So true.
And our attention spans suck nowadays.
I know.
Like we are terrible humans right now with being able to be
60
like
seconds
focused.
on, 60 seconds off.
I'm the worst. I need to just start like touching things. So I personally can't sit there and read an email.
That's why we're next to this wall.
Exactly. No one knows I'm just always rubbing. So, yeah, I personally would like, I'll start reading and then it's like I'm on the next email already, or like I'm sidetracked. Video is so engaging. It's good. It's smart. They get to see you, hear you, and get to know you, catch a vibe, right? And everyone can feed off of that vibe. It's like, wow, this girl's got good energy. I want to work with her.
Yeah,
I think it's genius.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, I think it's genius. So I think, it's a really good tool, and you have instantly, even though you've only been 6 months, you instantly set yourself apart from majority, I would say, right? Yeah. So that is very cool.
That was my intention.
And then you're very active on the video with your TikTok, and you have a YouTube. So you're doing all the things where I feel like a lot of agents out there are just in their own head, and they're their own enemy.
The worst thing you can do is nothing.
For sure.
And everybody who listens to this is going to say, oh, yeah, well, I know that. But do you? There's been a lot of new agents that have reached out to me and just said, like, I like what you're doing. Can you tell me what it is you're doing? And I'll tell them, but they won't do any of it. And then they'll come back to me and say, I still want to do what you're doing. You told me about this, but there's a lot of fear. There's a lot that goes into it. I understand. Go ahead. Yeah. You look like you have something to say. I
have a quote.
Yeah.
One of my favorites. You could bring a horse to the water, but you can't force it to drink.
Can't make them drink.
Right?
That's right.
So I will always drink. Just a thirsty guy. Yeah. When I go to water. That could, taken so many different ways. But it's just the business we're in, right? It's like why we have the stats we have. Like you have, like I mentioned before, whether this is true or not, guys, don't hate me or hate text me. But it's like, in and around 95% of the business is done by 5%. It's always that. There's a reason you see like certain names all the time. It's because there's doers and then there's the procrastinators.
Sitters? Oh, okay.
Sitters? Sure. Whatever you want to call them. I don't have a term for it. So if you want to help me with it, by all means.
Sitters. Doers and sitters.
But you're doing, which is great. So I think a lot of people can just be influenced and inspired by what you're able to do because a lot of agents, especially 6 months in or less, or just even under a year, may not have the confidence yet or feel like, who am I to put out a video and talk about real estate when there's people that have been in the business for 20 years that can do that? Like, who am I versus them? Which is not true. That's just people's own internal battles, right?
That's definitely an internal thing. Yeah. And, I am so far from perfect, but we
all are.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? And once you realize that, we're all just human beings trying to make something, right? Money, we have families, we have goals, hopefully. And we're all just starting from scratch. Everybody starts from scratch. And it's like the worst thing you can do for yourself, again, going back to this, is nothing. Because if you do nothing, nothing will happen for you. And like I said, I'm nowhere near perfect. And there were things that I tried that failed. But you fail forward.
Yeah.
You fail forward.
Yes, exactly.
Everything you do moves you forward.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you do. Do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. And you only learn. That's the only way you can learn is by failing.
Yeah.
And trying and seeing what works for you and what doesn't, what sticks, what doesn't.
Yeah.
But we all have these limited, like even me, guys, when I started this podcast, I started with neighborhood and they're like, Matt, we want you to be the guy. And I'm not gonna lie, in the first couple of episodes, I'm like, who am I to be a host? Right? Like, who am I to be the host? Or I'll get asked to speak at some engagements. It's like, why am I the guy speaking in front of a crowd? That goes through my head too, right? But we all go through it. And I was actually speaking at a summit on Saturday, and the two agents I was speaking with, they're having the same thoughts. But like, if you look at them and you know who they are, they kill it. They're absolute beasts in the business. But we all have those thoughts.
Exactly.
But you won't know until you try. Like, hell yeah, I was nervous when I first started this. Or this is your first podcast, you're crushing it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
this is
people
my
may
first
not know
podcast.
It's your first, but you're super comfortable.
And guys, I am sitting here nervous. Like when we first started, I was like, oh my God, Matt's going to ask me things. I'm going to stumble over my words. But you have to go. When you get invited to things, you have to go. Always say yes.
Yes.
Always go. Because now I met Matt.
I met Steph. You have a new hat?
I have a new hat. Like, this is cool.
Yeah. But these are just like the good habits to have. And the consistency. And you've been really consistent with your videos and on the TikTok and the YouTube and all that. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, for 6 months, you're doing well. When you told me you were in for 6 months, I was kind of shocked.
Were you?
Yeah, I was. Because you don't come off like that. And it's all perception.
Yeah.
Right? So we're allowed to put out whatever we want, and people can perceive it however they want.
Yeah.
Right? So it's all how you present yourself. And if you present yourself in a proper way, like yourself, like many of the other agents that are doing super well, then you're going to attract business.
Yeah.
It's just simple formula.
You just do the best you can at all times. If real estate is what you want to do this for your career, give it everything.
Yeah.
Because real estate, so we touched on you have to be a therapist, you're a social worker, all the things, a teacher and a realtor. Because of that, it takes all your time. It does. And it takes your energy, it takes your time. You have to give it your all. Because if you don't, you're not, like, again, you have to try. Because then if you fail forwards.
What keeps you motivated?
Family.
Cool.
100%. It's for, what I found too. So when I was younger modeling, I have to relate to this because when I was younger and I was modeling, what kept me motivated for that was I want to go buy myself some cool clothes. But that only went so far. Mm-hmm. When I started changing the motivation to somebody else, or like, I want my family to not have to work so hard, or when my parents get older, I want to be able to take care of them. That's where I am today.
Yeah.
I'm older and wiser, guys. Because of that, since that's become my motivation, nothing can stop me because I'm driven for others.
Yeah.
And that has really been my motivating factor.
That's awesome.
Is family.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's your why.
That's my why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all need that.
Yeah.
You all gotta figure out what is your true purpose and reason why you're doing things.
What is your why? What's your why?
Very similar.
Putting you on the spot here.
Very similar, and like I may not show this to my parents because I'm just like, we have amazing. I love my parents to death, but I would love nothing more than to retire them.
Yeah.
Because they did everything for me, and like struggled to do it. So ideally, I would like to accomplish like extreme goals. Like my goals are just insanely massive.
Yeah.
I like to call myself a delusional optimist.
Oh, yes. I love that.
Yeah. And in the future, like whenever the time comes, it's like, okay, guys, stop. Here you go. Just, what do you want? You want this? Okay, here I have it. It's like, go take those vacations, go do whatever you never got to do.
Yeah.
That's kind of what fuels me.
Yeah.
And then as we go in this business, because it is a giving business and it is a service business, I mean, I love seeing the smile on the client's face, right? Every transaction. Sorry, something's stuck. Every transaction, you're going through what could be someone's biggest time of their lives, or most important time of their lives, right? So
absolutely,
just in the business in general, it's just super fulfilling. And I think as you hear like any sort of very successful person, like later on in their lives, in their career, at the end of the day, they always say like the most fulfilling thing is just helping others. It's just a human thing.
Absolutely.
And it just comes down to that. So yes, if you're focused on like the glitz and the glamour or the bling, it will only get you so far. No, it's not. It's really not. So it's just all about like being humble and stuff. And yeah, I totally agree.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And because this is such a giving business, because it is, you're giving your time all the time. And the thing is too, when you have clients, you're on their schedule. You're not really on your schedule, you're on their schedule. But I gotta say, the most satisfying feeling that I have found being a realtor, like you said, is seeing the happiness on their face, the smiles. And I always, so when you bring a client into a home that they don't like, they don't like it. But when you bring them into a home and they fall in love with it, the expression on their face and the feelings that go around, and I'm sure you'll resonate with this, like you'll probably feel this, but last time this happened to me, It was the other day. And again, all of these emotions came up. I almost cried. And this happens to me almost every time.
Yeah.
Because they're talking about where, their dog is going to sleep.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
where their kids are going to grow up, or where they're going to sit and watch movies. And that's just so moving, because we're essentially, we're selling and buying homes for other people, but we are helping them find a place where they're going to lay their head at night, and where they're going to wake up every morning, where they're going to spend the majority of their time. When they're not at work, they're at home. And we get to be a part of that. Yeah. And, I thought about this the other day. Realtors have a really cool job, because any other job, people are, they're helping them for different things. Eyes, teeth, whatever, but it's outside of their home. People rarely get to look into somebody's home life. Yeah. No one talks about their home life. Yeah, we're sitting here talking about things, but I don't know about your home life. You don't know about mine. Like, I have a dog, by the way, but we don't know that. Oh, there we go. Yeah. People don't really talk about that. But with your clients, you do.
Yeah.
You get to know all of these things, and it's so incredible. And I think that is the reason I fell in love with real estate. And of course, that sort of developed over time, because as a brand new real estate agent, I didn't know it was like that. I didn't know that was even an aspect that you share with people. But now, no one could get me out of this business, because it's just so satisfying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And emotional.
Yeah, it is. It really is. When you can connect on these deeper levels, then it's like you wake up happy every day, because okay, I love my job,
Yeah, it's people's homes.
Yeah. I love it.
Families.
It is super fulfilling.
Like, it's beautiful.
It is. Yeah. I love it. So as we near the end here, because these things fly, I told you. Yeah. I'm still choking on something. I don't know what it is.
You need water. It will get you water.
I'll get it. It's fine. But to the agents that are fresh, just getting out the gates, what would be like a piece of advice for them to take away from this? Thanks, Dean. This guy, he's actually nice for one time.
Here comes the
water.
You
want to come on? Yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah. What's one piece of advice you want to give to a new agent out there, 3 months in, 6 months in, 9 months in?
Yeah.
That they can take away.
What I would say is, every day, do something that scares you and do something new. Do something new. The worst thing you can do, again, is nothing. And the best thing you can do is everything. And it's easy to say that. I know it's easy to say, oh, just do everything. But it's true. Just do as much as you can. Find the gaps in your work. Yeah. Find the things in your day-to-day, or things that you're if you only have one client, find something that client says to you all the time, something that worries them, something that stresses them out, and go find the solution to that.
Yeah.
Because I found clients speaking to me at the very beginning saying, oh, I don't understand this, I don't understand that. I'll make a video about it. Yeah. I will create things. I'll send it to people so that they can better understand what it is we're doing here, or how I can help them. So that's what I would do. I would just do something.
Do it, guys. Just do it. Nike.
Just pick something, find that thing you're good at, and just go after it.
Love it. I could not agree more. Yeah. Well, you've been amazing. Thank you so much. And for all your new fans out there, because I'm sure you have tons right now, where can they find you?
Please find me on my Instagram. Come say hi. You can find me there at stephaniemitchell.ca. My partner and I, we're also a real estate team here in Toronto.
Which is cool, yes.
Yep. And we just created a cute couples real estate channel, so you can find us there as well. We're always posting, I don't know, I think it's cute content.
Oh, people love that. People love that stuff.
Yeah, and you can find us there at stephdan.ca.
Beautiful. Well, we're going to post all your links everywhere.
Awesome.
Here and stuff. And thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And to everyone out there, thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and tell all your friends, cousins, and your squirrel friends out there on the trees with their nuts. We will see you on the next one. This is Price to Sell. Peace.